For reaction now, let's go to Naftali Bennett. Mr. Bennett is the former chief of staff to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Bennett, welcome. First, your reaction, did you hear what you wanted to hear from the speech this morning?
You know, I think Obama's words are very tough, but his actions aren't. As we speak right now, the current sanctions are too slow and too soft to actually stop Iran. Iran is racing towards acquiring a nuclear weapon. They've recently tripled the pace of their uranium enrichment program. They've got over 100 kilograms of highly graded uranium. They're in the process of transferring their facilities underground, and the sanctions are going to play in only in June. Why are we waiting for June? The words are good, but he talked about Teddy Roosevelt holding a big stick. Right now we're seeing big words, but a very, very small stick.
Well, he said don't judge him by his words, judge him by his deeds, and the president also believes that the sanctions are working. He said they're crippling.
What we need now is not crippling sanctions. We need paralyzing sanctions that will bring Iran's economy to the brink of collapse. We're nowhere near that right now. Right now, the bank has not yet had its sanctions applied on it. It's only going to take place in June. That's way, way too far. Now, essentially, President Obama is asking Israel to outsource its own security to his hands. He's saying, I've got your back. Because in half a year from now, after the Iranians move their facilities underground, Israel will no longer be able to take them out and will be in Obama's hands. I'm asking the American public, would you be willing to outsource your own security to a friend?
Well, he also said in the speech, and I quote, Israel must always have the ability to defend itself by itself against any threat. And in fact, he said that a couple of times. So some could say he's not outsourcing it. He's acknowledging it implicitly then, that Israel has the right to potentially launch an attack by itself on its own without the United States.
Well, Israel indeed does. We've done it twice. Once in 1981, we took out the Iraqi nuclear facility, and that in fact closed down their nuclear operations. And in 2007 in Syria, allegedly Israel bombed their nuclear facility, and they've never recovered. Could you imagine what the world would look like right now when Assad's regime is about to fall, but he'd have 2 or 3 nuclear bombs? So if Israel needs to, we will do the job. But the one thing that could prevent the need of Israel to take out Iran is if President Obama, and indeed the West altogether, would immediately apply paralyzing sanctions on Iran now, not in June, right now.
Well, do you think that's really possible? You got Russia and China, look, watering resolutions down at this UN Security Council.
Well, I think some of the actions are in the hands of the United States. I think, for example, the sanctions on Iran's central bank could be applied now. We're at the beginning of March. We don't have to wait 3.5 months for those sanctions to be put in place, and we don't need to wait for Russia and China to apply those very sanctions.
He also said, well, actually some of the longest applause came when he said that he does not have a policy of containment, but a policy of preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear bomb. What else do you think should the United States do?
Well, I think, first of all, that's very good news that they've abandoned the doctrine of containment and moved to the doctrine of prevention, because anyone who thinks that the mullahs of Iran can be contained rationally and think that they are a rational partner or player clearly doesn't have it right on. What can be done beyond the paralyzing sanctions, and I repeat, paralyzing, not crippling and not harming, paralyzing, is also a plausible threat on Iran from the United States, whether it be the United States or Israel who ultimately does it. They need to understand that we mean business.
Do you think you heard that just now in the speech? He said he wouldn't take a military option off the table.
Yeah, I mean, those are words we've heard for the past 2 years, and that's good. I think this speech has made progress, but it has to be coupled and followed by decisive actions of the United States of America.
All right, Naftali Bennett, we're out of time. I thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, former Chief of Staff to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who will meet with President Obama at the White House tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.